In 1814, the Spanish artist Francisco Goya painted the 3rd of May 1808, perhaps the first overtly anti-war painting. In it, you see, among other things, a man defiantly stretching his arms out in front of a firing squad. I made a video about this painting if you want to learn more about it. About 50 years later, between 1867 and 1869, the French artist Edouard Manet painted The Execution of Emperor Maximilian, a painting which can't really be considered anti-war, but which is definitely political. It was made to criticize the French emperor. Goya's iconic 3rd of May 1808 composition was borrowed. The story of this painting is incredible, as one of its versions, my favorite one, was cut up into pieces and then gathered back together by Degas after Manet's death, making for what I interpret it to be a sort of conceptual artwork. If you're interested, also check the video I made on it. About 60 years after Manet's painting, and over a century after Goya's in 1937, the Spanish artist Pablo Picasso painted Guernica, the most famous anti-war painting. One of my very first videos was made on this painting, and in case you don't know it, it shows the moments following the bombing of the city of Guernica during the Spanish Civil War by fascist forces. In it, you see, among other things, a woman stretching out her arms, not in defiance, but out of fear and panic, a figure recalling Goya's subject. Guernica is, and probably always will be, Picasso's most famous masterpiece. And one curious thing about it is, considering it's an anti-war painting, it doesn't show the perpetrators of war. In Goya's The 3rd of May 1808, we see the French firing squad, their uniforms, their identical positions, the fact that they're turning their backs on us, and that they're standing in darkness. Because this painting is criticizing war, it's inevitably criticizing the military, which enables it. The same is shown in The Execution of Emperor Maximilian. Guernica doesn't show that. We see pain, chaos, and death, but there's no signs of oppressors, no signs of any military to be seen. What is shown here is the aftermath of a bombing, and maybe the reason why we can't see the fascists who bombed Guernica is because, as they bombed it through aerial strikes, they were able to fly away and avoid the aftermath. In this video, I want to look at Picasso's second most famous anti-war artwork, one that wasn't as appreciated as Guernica and which lives in its shadow. We're going to be looking at Massacre in Korea. By the way, I want to thank all my new patrons who support the channel and who subscribed to Patreon in the last video. Very, very much appreciated. There's a new patron, a top-tier patron, Chrissy Chris, who sent me a message about the Greensboro Massacre. I'll read the message at the end of the video, so stick to the end of the video if that interests you. But yeah, thank you to all the patrons. Thank you for people who subscribe and who like the videos and comment. Again, I read all of them, so I love those interactions. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep being patrons. All right. Massacre in Korea is his third major anti-war painting after, of course, Guernica and the Charnel House, made a decade later in 1945, an unfinished painting about the Holocaust which echoes Guernica's composition. In Massacre in Korea, Picasso, instead of borrowing a figure, borrows Goya's The 3rd of May 1808's famous composition. He puts the victims and the oppressors face to face. Both are opposed not only compositionally, but also geometrically. The victims, women, children, and babies, standing at the foot of a mass grave, are round and curvy, while the oppressors, armed men, are made of sharp lines to the point where they look more like robots than humans. A river separates the two groups, as Korea was separated in 1945. Korea was annexed by Japan in 1910, and in 1945, when Japan surrendered to the Allies, Korea was separated between the North and the South, the Soviet Union being in charge of the North and America being in charge of the South. In 1948, both territories got their own government. In 1950, North Korea, wanting a unified Korea, invaded South Korea. A 3-year war followed. Up to 3 million civilians were killed, North Korea being the most affected. Historian Charles K. Armstrong estimated that up to 15% of North Korea's population was killed. Picasso supported the USSR as a member of the French Communist Party, a position many libertarian socialists and anarchists such as Breton would criticize. Perhaps I'll make a video on that, so subscribe. But through his support of the USSR, Picasso also supported North Korea. This painting, made only 6 months after the start of the Korean War, was, according to art critic Kirsten Hoving-Keen, inspired by reports of American atrocities. An infamous example of such alleged atrocities is the Sinchon massacre, which is believed to have inspired Picasso to pick up his brush and denounce the war. Between October 17th and December 7th, 1950, between 30 and 35,000 North Koreans were killed in Sinchon County. South Koreans claimed that it was the result of communist and right-wing activists fighting. North Koreans claimed that it was the South Korean and the American Army who perpetrated the massacre. North Korea has a museum of American war atrocities, where the event is heavily used as anti-American propaganda. According to the historian Bruce Cummings, the massacre was not perpetrated by Americans, although, as he said himself, the Koreans I spoke with were adamant that Americans had carried out the massacres. It's possible that we'll never know what happened in Sinchon, as I really don't trust either North Korea or the United States for being honest about potential war crimes that happened in the 50s. I think it's important to mention the No-Gun-Ri massacre, one of the many other Korean War massacres which happened, but which is less controversial on who the perpetrators might be. In it, up to 400 civilians were killed, mostly women and children refugees. The details of this massacre were only unveiled in 1999 in an Associated Press article, and the American Army was found guilty of committing the massacre. The orders were: no refugees to cross the front line, fire everyone trying to cross lines, use discretion in case of women and children.
And I forgot at that time that I would be reading a statement concerning No-Gun-Ri. We have determined, however, that U.S. soldiers killed or injured an unconfirmed number of Korean refugees in the last week of July of 1950 during a withdrawal under pressure in the vicinity of No-Gun-Ri.
The only orders that we could find were the inferences of orders, and our Korean colleagues were in agreement with that, as you listened to the Statement of Mutual Understanding.
A 2001 U.S. report was published in which it called the massacre an unfortunate tragedy inherent to war and not a deliberate killing. Following the report, Bill Clinton came out saying, "I deeply regret that Korean civilians lost their lives at No-Gun-Ri in late July 1950. While Guernica could be a universal call for peace, for example, many people see an echo of it in the genocide of the Palestinian people, massacre in Korea somehow lacks this universality. Picasso's massacre in Korea was criticized for being too easy and on the nose. It failed where Guernica triumphed. And I think I might know why. The two paintings are extremely different, and one of the biggest differences between them is the fact that Massacre in Korea is more literal, less abstract, more realistic. And I don't mean realistic in the sense of photorealism, but more realistic in the sense of socialist realism. Communist artists were encouraged, or even forced, to adhere to the socialist realist tradition, norms, and codes established by the USSR. This is one of the reasons why Breton, who I mentioned earlier, turned against communism and went back to anarchism. One day I'll make a video on socialist realism. Do I say so subscribe again? So subscribe. And it's not to say that this is a socialist realist painting, because it's not, but it does fall closer to the socialist realist philosophy than Guernica ever did. While Guernica shows pain more abstractly through a fresco of disconnected symbols that fill the frame, Massacre in Korea shows a scene. This scene is terrible, but it seems terrible solely through the subject matter rather than through Picasso's hand. He doesn't seem to be adding anything to it, just reporting it, showing it to us in a cold and flat image. It's strikingly obvious that one was made about a tragedy in his home country, and the other thousands of kilometers away. There could be other reasons why Guernica does a better job at being universal. It could be because the title of Massacre in Korea ties it to a very specific event, while Guernica ties it to a place. It could be because we see the massacre's perpetrators complexifying the scene, or it could be because it's happening in Korea and, because I'm from Canada, it feels too far away to relate to. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel, like me, that Massacre in Korea lacks something Guernica has? If so, what does it lack? Do you agree with me that it's some sort of universalism, or is it something else? Should we even compare these two paintings in the first place? Let me know in the comments. As always, I say this all the time, I read all of them. I read all of them the week after the video is published. Then I kind of forget about it. But so comment now. And that's it. That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to thank the patrons right away because this whole time I had a star from a concert I went to yesterday on my I don't know if you could see it. No, I don't think you could see it. Oh yeah, you could see it. I want to thank the patrons right away. Rowan Brandel, X-Towns, Bone Meal, and Chrissy Chris. Those are top four, like the top tier 4 patrons who support the channel through Patreon. And there's also all the patrons who are here, who are scrolling by to my left or to your right. There's been so much support on Patreon in the last couple of videos. Very, very much appreciated. And one of the patrons, Chrissy Chris, sent me a message. It's in relation to the Greensboro Massacre video I made, which I'm very, very proud of, and which sadly has been shadow banned. So go check it out. Check out that video. I think it's really, 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 really good, if I do say so myself. Now, let's go see the comment. Okay, I found it. So Chrissy Chris says, "Hi Sean, just wanted to drop you some Patreon love and let you know your last video highlighting the Greensboro Massacre was so good. Thanks for lifting it up on your platform and all the great work you do keeping the history of resistance, love, and struggle shining in these dark times." That's not why I'm reading it. The next part is why I'm reading it. I'm not just glazing myself. I am a legal worker at the People's Law Office in Chicago, and I work for one of the lawyers who represented the survivors and families in the Greensboro civil trial. He was happy to hear about the video too. If you ever find yourself in Chicago, let me know, and I can give you a tour of the office. Keep on keeping on, my friend. Isn't that a heartwarming message? At least it is to me. So yeah, go check out that video. Even a lawyer in the civil trial of the event has said they were happy about the video. So go check it out. Go check it out. And aside from that, I can give you a little update on Montreal. I've been having a lot of fun in Montreal. I've been volunteering at an anarchist place. I got recognized at that place, so I was very happy. Hello to the people who recognized me if you still watch my videos. It was really sweet to talk to people. Check out the video I made with the CBC, as always. Probably the link will be in the description. Go check out my Letterboxd, still trying to be the most Letterboxd famous video essayist. I'm very far away from catching up to Thomas Flight, but we'll get there. I watched Bugonia yesterday. It was amazing, probably a subject for a video soon. Instagram and all these things. And I think that's it. And I'll see you in the next video. Maybe on Bugonia, maybe on Picasso's communist ties. We'll see. All right. Goodbye.